for a UK audience, an American audience.
Start from the development debate. I know this is your forte, so could you kind of just elaborate on that? How does it relevant the kind of issues that they are finding in the technology transfer, everything? Development debate is not really in the center of it.
Okay. It is good. It is good you're asking that, because we can have me saying it, and then you can have somebody who's just about 25, 28 talking about the same thing and see what he thinks about it. Well, the point which we were talking about is that many people see climate change as an environmental issue. That means there are some emissions, they are too much, there are pollution, there are a problem, we should just deal with it. What we found, especially when we got involved, especially after the National Action Plan on Climate Change came out about 3 years ago in 2008, was that actually we feel that development is central to this debate. Now, development means what? The right of the poorer communities and poorer sections of this globe to what we call development, that is in the form mainly energy, which enables them to engage in work which is meaningful, productive, remunerative, and contributes to well-being. Whereas the debate, just when you talk about environment, is stop coal, stop all emissions, and then the world will be a better place. Fine, from the point of view of climate change, if you look at it as an environment problem, you will solve the issue of carbon in the air or methane or whatever other greenhouse gases are there, but you will leave about 70% of the Earth's population mired in poverty for decades to come, unless you have another way of doing things. This is, in just short, the development debate. Is it an environmental problem or is it a development problem? So what we are saying is that what we have been working for, that means what civil society, people's movements, etc. have been working for in the rural areas mainly, and to some extent in the slum communities and the marginalized urban areas, is we have been looking at issues of water excess. We have been looking at problems of the green revolution, the whole question of organic farming, the whole question of access to energy in rural households. All these issues we've been talking for the last 20 years, we say that is exactly relevant in a climate problem world. And that is where we say development is primary, and therefore the whole notion of equity is not just the right to pollute or the right to energy, but also the right to develop and well-being. I'll ask him to add what he understands by the develop, etc.
Yeah. I think it's a very, very important question, very relevant to the entire debate. And I think climate change is only one symptom of the issue, what we are seeing. Because the entire framework in which how we are educated, the economic system, it's all sort of falling apart right now. And the problem is a systems problem. We need to address it at the system rather than just at the symptom. So co-benefits with climate and development, yes. For example, Walter took some examples. I'll take an example of a project we are doing in Bundelkhand called Rural Climate Fellows, wherein when we first went in there and we saw what was happening in the communities there in terms of impact of drought, we had to start with, okay, how do we address this, where you don't even have a basic panchayat, where the women, especially the low caste women who are the most affected by climate change, are not even part of the governance mechanism. Yes, we have NREGA, yes, we have the money, yes, we have technology, but there is no participation. There is no way of getting these people into the system. And so the entire program became about awareness, about actually starting with doing panchayats, getting these women to the panchayats so that they understand not only the entire system of how climate change is affecting them, but how could they connect to things like NREGA, which is the National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, to doing things like watershed, which is actually climate adaptation. So I think that it's important to look at the entire social, environmental and economic loop. But I think for me, currently, the journey which I am on is that how did this go wrong? And I think the answer lies into the economic system. And I work with an organization called Initiatives of Change, where we explore things more at the cultural values level, where I think somewhere down the line in our education system, we're only following a Western pragmatic approach of living lives, creating communities, and we don't have an Indian economics. We don't have an African economics. We don't have, which is relevant to our cultural context. We have had great thinkers like Gandhi, Aurobindo, Tagore, who have fascinating communities. If you go to places like Wardha or Auroville or Shanti Niketan, and there are philosophies which kind of manifest into communities which are self-sustainable and which are connected to nature and community, science and spirituality, intercultural understanding. So I think the issue which we are battling here is a systems issue. It's an entire framework we are dealing with, in which we are talking. And it's not only about carbon. What happened?
No, he has goofed up there. It's okay, carry on. Here, something else has come over there.
Yeah, so it's not only about carbon. It's about how we educate ourselves to live in a more systems way, how we are able to interconnect different issues, whether that's to do with livelihood, whether that's to do with environment or social justice. Now when we talk about Rio, which is supposed the next milestone in terms of taking stock of the three conventions which were created on desertification, climate change and biodiversity, and people talk about creating a green economy, we need to really understand this. What does the green economy mean? How is it culturally relevant to the indigenous people of the world? What are the practices? What is the knowledge we already have in the world, across 10,000 years, where we can create livelihoods, have communities which are peaceful and socially just?